Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, really get into them, and pull out the knowledge inside. Today, we're tackling something that, well, let's be honest, it probably gives you that little knot in your stomach, computer viruses and all that other nasty stuff, malware. You know the feeling, right? Your computer just freezes up, or weird pop-ups start appearing everywhere, or it slows down so much you just want to, I don't know, throw it across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely all been there. So our mission today is to shine a light on these digital invaders. We want to figure out what they actually are, how they manage to sneak onto our systems, and crucially, how you can set up some solid defenses to keep your important data safe.
Exactly. The sources we're digging into today give us a really good base for understanding these malicious programs. We'll sort of map out the whole landscape of digital threats, going beyond just, the word virus that everyone knows to cover all the different types of malware. The goal is that by the end of this, you'll have a much clearer picture and hopefully some things you can actually do.
Right, it's like your computer's caught a cold or maybe something much worse. A whole family of digital bugs. So we'll look at the symptoms, the different, let's call them strains, and yeah, the digital hygiene, the habits that keep us healthy online.
And what's really interesting, is that this isn't some new phenomenon. Our sources point out that the very early signs of this stuff popped up way back in the 1970s. You had the creeper virus on ARPANET. Then in '87, the brain virus appeared, one of the first for PCs, targeting the boot sector specifically. Even before that, Elk Cloner was messing with Apple II systems in 1982. This history, it's not just trivia. It shows us this constant back and forth, this evolution.
Yeah.
Threats get smarter, defenses have to keep up. It's been going on for decades.
Okay, let's start breaking this down before we get into the nitty-gritty. Our sources give us this big, broad term for all these digital bad guys, malware. So what exactly falls under that umbrella?
Yeah, malware. It's simply short for malicious software. It's the catch-all term for any program or piece of code written with bad intentions, designed to damage your computer, disrupt how it works, or get access without your permission. And it's not just about breaking things. Malware can be sneaky, stealing your data, spying on what you do, sometimes even taking over your machine completely. The name itself kind of gives it away. Like in Spanish, mal means bad. So you can think of it as badware. It's a really wide category, and just knowing that helps frame all the different types of threats we're going to talk about.
That makes sense. It's the big bucket. And, when most people hear computer threat, the word that probably jumps out is virus. But like you said, that's just one piece of the malware puzzle. So specifically, what is a computer virus based on our research? What makes it distinct?
That's a really important distinction. Some people say virus stands for Vital Information Resources Under Siege, which is, well, memorable. But functionally, our sources define a computer virus as a specific kind of malicious software. Its unique trick is that it can make copies of itself and attach itself to other programs or files. Now, crucially, it usually goes after executable files, those .exe files you click to run something. And here's the key. A virus generally won't infect your computer unless you actually run or open that infected program or file.
Oh, okay. So it needs help.
Exactly. It needs an action from the user. Think of it like a biological virus. It gets into your system, but it needs you to do something like opening that dodgy email attachment to actually activate and start spreading. And once it is active, the damage can range from just, annoying pop-ups to completely wrecking your system.
Got it. So that human interaction, clicking the thing, running the program, that's what separates a classic virus.
Huh?
So if I think I might have clicked on something bad, what are the signs? How would I know if my computer's, caught a virus?
Good question. Just like when you get sick, your computer usually shows symptoms. You might notice weird things happening without you doing them, like the mouse cursor moving on its own, windows opening and closing randomly, programs starting by themselves. Other big red flags are frequent crashes or unexpected restarts, applications suddenly not working right, loads of weird error messages popping up, or just a general noticeable slowdown in performance. Sometimes drives might become inaccessible, or menus and dialog boxes look, well, distorted or weird.
Okay, lots to watch out for.
Definitely. Any of those should make you think, maybe something's wrong here.
And this is where it gets even more complex, right? Because not all viruses are the same. They don't all attack the same way or target the same bits of the system. Our sources actually categorize them quite clearly.
Exactly. Knowing the types helps understand the specific danger. So first up, you have program file viruses. These are sort of the classic type. They infect executable files, things ending in .com, .exe, .sys. We run these all the time, so they're, common targets. The virus basically hides inside the program file and only becomes active when you actually run that infected program. Then it wakes up, copies itself, and looks for other programs to infect, like a parasite, really. Examples given are things like Sunday and Cascade, old ones, but illustrate the principle.
Okay, infecting the programs themselves. What's next?
Next are boot sector viruses. Now, these are particularly sneaky. They infect the boot sector of your hard drive. That's the very first part the computer reads when it starts up, the part that loads your operating system.
Oh, wow, before anything else really loads.
Precisely. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They become active the moment you turn your machine on, often before your antivirus has even had a chance to load. Makes them really hard to detect and remove sometimes. Classic examples mentioned are Disk Killer and the Stone viruses.
Okay, that sounds pretty serious. What other types are there?
Then you've got macroviruses. These are clever in a different way. They don't target system files directly. Instead, they infect files created by common applications, like Microsoft Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations. They use the macro languages built into those programs. So when you open an infected document, the macro runs, the virus loads into memory, and then any new documents you create or save can get infected too. It's a really effective way to spread through shared work files,
Yeah, because people share documents all the time.
Exactly. Examples noted are Melissa A and Relax. Melissa caused a huge stir back in the day.
Okay, and the last type mentioned.
The last category here is email viruses. Pretty self-explanatory name. These spread through email, usually hiding in infected attachments or maybe malicious links within the email body. They rely a lot on tricking you social engineering to get you to open that attachment or click that link.
Like those fake invoices or shipping notifications?
Exactly like those. Once you activate them, they can do all sorts of damage, delete files, corrupt your data, crash your system, and often a key part of their danger is their ability to email themselves to everyone in your address book, spreading really quickly.
Okay, so viruses need that user action, that click or that file opening? But they aren't the only baddies out there, right? Our sources highlight other major malware threats, each with its own unique way of causing trouble. What else do we need to watch out for?
That's a really key point. Viruses need that interaction, but other malware has evolved, often becoming more, let's say, autonomous. So first, let's discuss worms. Now, unlike viruses, a computer worm is malware that can copy itself and spread across networks without any human help.
That's the big difference then. No clicking needed.
Exactly. That's the critical distinction. Worms exploit security holes in operating systems or network software to jump from one computer to another. They often consume huge amounts of system memory or network bandwidth just by replicating, which can grind computers and entire networks to a halt. The Morris worm back in 1988 was a famous early example. It spread incredibly fast across the early internet and really showed everyone how damaging these self-spreading things could be.
Wow. So a worm just goes on its own mission. That definitely sounds scarier in a way. What about things that pretend to be something else?
Precisely, that self-propagation is what makes worms so potent. And speaking of pretending, that brings us neatly to Trojan horses, named, of course, after that old Greek story about the wooden horse. These are bits of malware disguised as legitimate, useful software. They trick you into installing or running them willingly, but once they're inside, they unleash their harmful payload. Unlike viruses and worms, Trojans don't reproduce or replicate themselves. Their whole game is deception, fooling you into letting them in.
So they need that user interaction too, but through trickery.
Exactly. They might change your desktop settings, block your antivirus from running, or, and this is a big one, create backdoors.
Yours.
Yeah, hidden ways for attackers to get into your system later, bypassing normal security. That huge Target data breach back in 2013, that started because attackers got in through a backdoor installed in their payment system, likely via a Trojan. Some well-known examples are malware families like Beast and Zeus.
Okay, so Trojans trick you. Then there's the really creepy idea of something just watching you. Silently recording everything.
That's where spyware comes in. As the name suggests, it's designed to spy on you. It monitors your computer activity, collects information. Could be anything from websites you visit to usernames and passwords, and sends it all back to a hacker somewhere. Often, spyware doesn't arrive on its own. It gets dropped onto your system by a Trojan, a virus, or a worm. Then it quietly installs itself. It might even change system settings to hide itself better. It can grab browsing habits, web history, login details, even credit card numbers if you type them in. Sometimes it slows down your internet connection by messing with settings. That Pegasus spyware we've heard about in the news is a really sophisticated, scary example, showing just how much data can be extracted from, say, a mobile phone without the user knowing. Serious privacy invasion.
Yeah, that's deeply unsettling. And then the one that feels maybe the most direct, the most like a digital mugging, is ransomware.
Oh, absolutely. Ransomware hits hard because it directly impacts your access to your stuff. It's malware that either locks your entire computer or, more commonly now, encrypts your important files, documents, photos, videos, making them completely unusable. Then, the attacker demands money, a ransom, usually in cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, to make it harder to trace, in exchange for the key or tool needed to unlock or decrypt your files.
It's literally holding your data hostage.
Exactly. The stress, the potential loss of irreplaceable memories or critical business data, it's immense. We've seen huge attacks like WannaCry that affected hospitals and businesses worldwide. And incidents hitting organizations like the Costa Rican government or the media group Impreza show how it can paralyze essential services and cost millions.
And our sources also quickly mentioned a few others, right? More specialized threats.
Yeah, just briefly. There are rootkits. These are nasty because they're designed to get the highest level of access administrator privileges and then actively hide their presence from you and your security software. Makes them incredibly hard to find and get rid of. They let attackers maintain control over a long period. We also mentioned backdoors earlier, often installed by Trojans. They're just hidden entry points for remote access, bypassing logins. Sometimes they're even bundled sneakily with legitimate software downloads. And finally, sweepers. These are particularly cruel. They pretend to be antivirus or system cleaning tools. They'll pop up fake warnings saying your computer is infected with hundreds of viruses.
Oh, I think I've seen those pop-ups.
Yeah, they use scare tactics. They try to frighten you into downloading their malicious program, which might install more malware, or even trick you into paying for a fake premium version that does nothing or makes things worse. It's pure digital manipulation.
Okay, wow. That's quite a collection of digital nasties.
Mm-hmm.
So given all these different types, how do they actually get onto our computers in the first place? What are the main ways infections happen?
It usually comes down to a mix of technical weaknesses and, well, human actions. Some really common ways infections happen are using external storage like USB sticks or even old CDs that are already infected, maybe from another computer, without scanning them first. Opening infected email attachments is still a massive one. Clicking on suspicious links in emails or on dodgy websites. Downloading programs, especially things like free games, screensavers, or pirated software from untrustworthy places online. That's a huge risk. And even local networks can be a vector. If one computer on your home or office network gets infected, malware can sometimes spread to others through shared folders or resources.
Right. So vigilance is key with anything coming in from outside. And once something does get in, how do you actually know? We talked about virus symptoms, but what are the broader signs that any kind of malware might be lurking on your PC?
Yeah, it's important to look for the general signs, not just the classic virus stuff. So besides that general slowdown, the weird pop-ups, the frequent crashes, or maybe the blue screen of death.
The dreaded blue screen.
The dreaded blue screen, yes. You should also watch out for sudden, unexplained loss of files, or finding files that are corrupted and won't open. Pay attention if programs start opening or closing on their own, or maybe your web browser homepage or search engine suddenly changes without you doing it. Another subtle clue can be unusual network activity, like if your internet connection seems really busy, lots of data being sent or received, even when you think all your applications are closed, that could be malware communicating in the background.
Okay, so keep an eye out for anything unusual, really.
Pretty much. Any unexpected or persistent strange behavior warrants a closer look.
Okay, this naturally leads us to the big question, the one everyone wants the answer to.
Yeah.
How do we actually protect ourselves? With all these threats constantly changing and evolving, what's the plan? Our sources lay out a pretty clear strategy, like building a digital fortress.
Absolutely. A multi-layered defense is really the only way to go. It's not about finding one magic bullet. It's about building several walls. First, and maybe most importantly, comes safe habits. This is your frontline defense, and it costs nothing but awareness. Always download software only from official websites or trusted app stores. Be incredibly suspicious of unsolicited emails and attachments. If you don't know the sender or it looks weird, just delete it. Don't click. Same goes for pop-up ads or links on websites, especially ones offering free stuff that seems too good to be true. Avoid downloading music, movies, games from those shady peer-to-peer sites or unofficial sources. They're often packed with malware.
So basically, be skeptical online. Think before you click.
Exactly. Cultivate that healthy skepticism. Second layer, you absolutely need a good, reputable antivirus program. Install one, and this is critical, keep it constantly updated. Antivirus software works by scanning files for known malware signatures and also by monitoring program behavior for suspicious activity. But new threats appear literally every day, so the developers release updates constantly to recognize them. An internet connection is usually vital for keeping that protection current. Make it a habit to scan any external drives, like USB sticks, before you open any files on them. Also, check if your antivirus specifically covers spyware and other malware types. If not, you might want to consider a separate anti-spyware tool as well. There are plenty of well-regarded options out there: McAfee, AVG, QuickHeal, Norton, and others.
Okay, so safe habits first, then solid updated antivirus.
Hmm.
What's the next layer? You mentioned something about a gatekeeper earlier.
Right. The third layer is installing a firewall. A good firewall is essential. Think of it, yeah, like a security guard or a bouncer at the door of your network connection. It can be software running on your computer or sometimes a hardware device. Its job is to monitor all the network traffic coming into and going out of your computer. It works based on a set of security rules. It inspects each little packet of data and decides whether to allow it through or block it based on those rules. It creates a barrier between your computer, your trusted internal network, and the big, untrusted internet outside. It stops unauthorized access attempts from getting in, and it can also prevent malware that did somehow get in from sending your data back out to the attackers.
So it controls the traffic flow.
Precisely. It's a really important choke point for network-based threats. Most operating systems have a basic one built in, but often dedicated firewall software offers more control and features. And finally, the last but arguably the most crucial safety net: data backup.
Ah, yes, the backup plan.
Always take regular backups of your important files. For really critical data, think daily backups. And don't just back up to another folder on the same computer. Store your backups separately on an external hard drive that you disconnect afterwards, or using a secure cloud backup service. This is your ultimate insurance policy. Because even if the worst happens, if some brand new ransomware gets past everything else and encrypts all your files,
You can just restore from the backup.
exactly. You can wipe the infected system clean, reinstall everything, and then restore your precious data from that clean backup. It turns a potential catastrophe into merely an inconvenience.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here. From defining malware and viruses to digging into worms, trojans, spyware, ransomware, and outlining those crucial protection layers. Safe habits, antivirus, firewall, and backups. It's really clear, isn't it? Our digital lives are, well, constantly facing potential attacks. But knowing what we're up against and how to defend ourselves makes a huge difference. We can be informed and we can be protected.
Absolutely. And understanding these threats, it's not just about the technical details, is it? It's about developing a kind of critical thinking for the digital age, being aware that not everything you see online is trustworthy. Because the nature of these malicious programs, it just keeps changing, keeps evolving, they get more sophisticated. You mentioned MyDoom earlier, that worm from 2004. The estimated financial damage it caused is just staggering, possibly the highest ever from a cyber attack. It really shows the scale we're dealing with. It truly is a constant arms race between attackers and defenders.
And that really is the fascinating, maybe slightly unnerving challenge ahead, isn't it? Technology keeps racing forward, attack methods will too, defense methods have to keep up. So it makes you wonder, what new kinds of digital threats might we see in the next, say, 10 years? Will we see AI used to create super smart malware? Or will fooling humans, that social engineering aspect, always be the weakest link? And how will we all need to adapt our own security practices to stay ahead? It's definitely something to think about. Keep exploring, stay curious, ask questions, and above all, stay safe out there in your digital world.